Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to Partnerships for Profit. Today we are joined by Keren Speck, who is a public relations consultant, the author of the Attention Seeker newsletter, and the chief attention seeker herself. Keren, welcome to the show.
I am. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your public relations consulting?
Yeah, sure. I got started in the industry when my dad told me the day I graduated from high school, "You're going to come work for the family company." And I'm like, "Great. What am I going to do?" "You're going to do public relations." "Great. What's that?" "I don't know, but you're going to figure it out." So I've been figuring it out ever since. But that was back in 1992, and I've been enjoying the world of public relations since then. It's really fun, it's exciting, and I love it. And so I'm based here in Orlando, Florida, and I work with owners of small businesses, makers, those who are making products, who are making all sorts of cool, unique things, movers, nonprofits who are moving us to do good, and shakers, people like tech industries who are shaking up the industry.
Now, the chief attention seeker, the Attention Seeker newsletter, can you tell us where that name comes from and how that developed?
How did that come about? Well, in public relations, a lot of people, they want attention for themselves or for their company. And that's rightly so. It's a great way to get business. And so I just kind of played on the words attention seeker because we're all attention seekers at heart. Well, maybe some of us aren't, but.
So when clients come to you, what are some of the pain points, some of the problems that they're experiencing that you're kind of helping them navigate and guiding them through?
That's a good question. So a lot of clients come and they don't know how to get attention. They don't know how to actually make a public relations plan. They don't know how to expand their business using public relations. So I'm very happy to help them make a plan, and if they can't, and help guide them so that they have a clear path and they understand what's needed.
And can you tell us a little bit about your experience building the candy company and how that influenced your current role and what you learned through that experience?
Yeah. So candy's always fun, right? So, I had this background in public relations, but my husband and I, we started a candy company where we made candy in front of an audience. And
Wow.
yeah, it was really fun. And so I used that background, that training that I had or knowledge I had in public relations to grow our candy company. So whenever I was always thinking of different story angles, I was collecting experiences and stories from our audience, and I was making a public relations plan, and it really paid off.
Wow.
In fact, we were able to be on Food Network.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I had that as a goal. I was like, I want to be on Food Network. I want to be on that show. But you can't just shoot for the stars, right? You have to work your way up. It's like a ladder.
Right.
Start from the bottom, you go up. So we started with some local outlets, and then we worked our way up. But when Food Network did receive our pitch and the producers came out to film our episodes, they were like, "Did you have a PR firm do this?" And I was like, "Nope, I did it myself." But I knew what I was doing, and I knew that it had to be really top-notch in order to get their attention.
Even though you weren't using a PR firm, were there PR tactics that you were utilizing? And I guess furthermore, how can, businesses utilize those same tactics to get themselves noticed?
Exactly. Yes. So there, of course, I those tactics, and I knew those tactics. And there's quite a few tactics that a business can use if they don't have a PR firm. You can, I would suggest you could create your website, and you have a dedicated press page. On that press page, you want to have biographies. You want to have downloadable assets, including headshots. You want to be able to download your logos, and then any mentions of previous press that you've got. So those are some tactics that someone could do right now, even if they don't have any press going on.
Is there a sort of overlooked PR tactic that you feel, maybe people should be utilizing and business owners should be utilizing that they just aren't for some reason?
I'm going to answer that question this way. I feel that a lot of businesses, if they do decide to do public relations themselves and they don't hire a professional, a lot of times they pitch incorrectly. So in other words, they pitch more like, hey, I'm a super cool guy. I'm this, let's say it's a financial planner. And they say, I'm so-and-so, I have X years of experience in the industry. My firm, we offer really great service. There's nothing special about this. It's not a story, right?
Right.
But if you sprinkle in some data, if you sprinkle in a example, a few people, things like this, now we're going to change it to the pitches. Hey, did you know that 80% of small businesses, when it comes time to retire, they're just going to shutter their business because they can't sell it? So now you've changed the entire narrative, and now you have a story. Now you're solving the problem for the audience, and you're not making it about yourself.
Well, and I think that's super fascinating, and I would love to dive further into that. I think that's really interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance and the role of narratives and storytelling when it comes to public relations?
Oh, it's so important. It's important not only just for public relations, but for business in general. So let's say you're a nonprofit and you're helping the community, you're providing all these services, and you're getting donations, and that's wonderful. But if you're not showing how you're helping, how your clients have been benefited, then you're not tapping into the wealth that you can tap into. It's really important for people to know what their money's going towards. Let's say if you donate to a nonprofit, or how that nonprofit is helping the community. Or if you're a professional, how is this professional? Look at this person that they've helped, so those storytelling is so important in any industry that you're in.
Is public relations and PR, is that sort of tied to say it's a more corporate business, right? Is it tied to their branding in any way? Are branding and public relations linked in any way?
I think they're like best friends.
I mean, you have to think.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have one without the other, right? They're besties, and they want to communicate with each other a lot, and want to make sure everyone's on the same page, and you want to stick to your brand when you're so public relations means you're communicating with your audience. So if your brand voice is serious, or whatever your brand voice is, then you're going to kind of translate that in your public relation efforts.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. So they're besties.
And can you kind of talk a little bit about what is the role of credibility when it comes to public relations, right? Because if the public is perceiving that you are not a credible source, I mean, how important is that credibility, and how can businesses establish and maintain that?
Yeah, so credibility is everything. It is public relations. And so yeah, let me not talk for an hour about
I know
credibility.
it's a big loaded question, right?
Yeah, no, but it's good. It's good. I love it. It's so juicy. So if if somebody who has established credibility, a reporter, a news outlet, they have years of experience, they have established credibility. If they say, hey, this person is credible, here, I'm going to interview them, they're going to give you a quote, they're going to answer a couple of my questions, that automatically lets the reader or the listener know that this person is credible. So public relations, that's called earned media. Now, earned media is just that. It's earned. You can't pay for that. So that automatically shows that you're credible. You can't. So advertising you pay for, right? Earned media you can't pay for. So that really establishes credibility.
And, I'm curious, what does it look like, I guess, say there is a brand or, a client that has completely done something that has erased credibility, right? Is there a rebuilding phase that happens at that point, or what does that look like?
So that's a specialty in public relations called crisis management. I am not a crisis manager, but I do understand a little bit about that. And it's not an easy path to come back from. And so that's why a big brand will have a crisis team, or they will have a crisis plan in play for anything that's happening related to their brand. So maybe we can think back to the Coldplay incident. that was a genius PR move by them. They did have a few fumbles, but what they did to combat that what the man did to really hurt their brand, or really he really hurt himself, but it can reflect badly on their brand.
Right.
So they did take, in my opinion, they took a little bit too long to respond to the false messages going out. They were fake messages. So they needed to cut that. They needed to address that right away. But the way that they did address it with the follow-up videos by Gwyneth Paltrow, I thought that was a stroke of genius. But yeah, so it's not so much that company lost its credibility, perhaps the man did, but
Right.
But yeah, so the main goal is not to lose credibility, and PR helps you if there's anything bad starting to come down the pipelines about your brand, let's say, then how to address that immediately.
Right. And, it's interesting, you brought up that distinction there, about the man losing credibility as opposed to the company losing credibility. How does that differ in sort of the PR management style of, how does that differ whether you're doing public relations for an individual versus a company?
Yeah. So public relations for an individual is called, like you're a publicist, and then for a company it's public relations. They do overlap those terms. And so a person, I've only represented a few people per se. I've done more on the company side.
Sure.
But with the person, it just really depends on the person. Like,
Right.
I mean, doing publicity for, Elon Musk is going to be a lot different, a lot different look than for, a author of a book or something like that. There is I don't know her name, but the ideal publicist is Taylor Swift's publicist. She's done a phenomenal job with her. And she should write a master class for everyone that wants to learn from her. But yeah, so with a company, you have set guidelines, right? And you have things that you control. But with a person, if you can't really control them per se. So it just depends if they're on your team or not. But communication is really important with your client.
Right. And I'm curious. Well, first off, it's funny that you mentioned Taylor Swift because I'm here in Kansas City, so she has a chokehold on this town right now.
Yeah. Okay, I see what's going on.
But yeah, I'm curious. How has sort of the rise of social media changed the nature of public relations?
Yeah. So when I started in PR, there was no social media at all. So it's been a massive change. And in fact, AI is going to be changing it even more, which we can talk about later. But
that was my next question.
Okay, so I'll stick with social media first. So social media, it's its own beast, right? It's tough. And there is debate in between marketing and PR people who controls social media. Should the marketing or should PR control it? Since I'm with PR, I'll just go ahead and just say, like, whenever I work with a client and if I, ask for, let me help you with your social media, you really want to work smart and have a plan and keep with your brand voice. And when you start getting negative comments, or if you're a really big company and things start going south for you, there's a lot of tools that you can use to kind of keep track of your brand and put out the fires before they really start. So it's its own beast, social media, but it is important because it is an extension of you and it's your voice. And that social media is called owned media. So you control the narrative that you put out on that owned media. And that earned media that we were talking about earlier is what journalists say. You can't control what journalist says, but you earn that media. And then social media is owned media.
Right. Well, and now there's all of this AI searchability happening, right? And so, it's and the way that most AI searches work is, doesn't media coverage sort of define how that AI is viewing you and looking at you? Because yeah, sure, a certain percent of that is your owned media, but wouldn't the majority of that be the earned media that it's searching through?
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, there you go.
You are the winner. I love this question because it's at top of mind for so many people right now. And that's why public relations is so important right now. So there's a stat that says that in 2028, AI searches will surpass traditional searches.
Wow.
I personally think it's going to be much sooner.
Yeah.
And it's estimated that by next year, your company will see 25 to 70% drop in their traffic because they haven't adjusted their plans to include AI searches. So, can I explain a little how it works?
Oh, please do. I mean, I was going to say, this is like, our listeners are going to be engaged on this one.
Okay. I'll do my best. So AI systems, they believe whatever they can see repeated, like sets of words repeated clearly and credibly across the open web. So generative AI tools, they lean heavily on sources that are authoritative. Those reputable news outlets that we talked about, those industry websites, references sources, including Wikipedia, including Reddit. So when all of these sources repeat the same facts and phrasing about you or about your company, it creates a pattern. And that's what the models pick up on, and they reuse those in their summaries.
Wow.
So those it's through PR that you get access to those high trust sources. So a single feature in a respected outlet today is going to shape how AI describes you in 1,000 conversations tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I really advise people, if I don't do it for them, then I advise them to be intentional and consistent. Keep your bios, your key phrases, keep them showing up in as many credible outlets as you can, and monitor. Take some time to monitor and measure how your AI is currently talking about you.
And it's really interesting because that notion of sort of controlling the narrative, right, that we spoke about earlier, controlling that narrative is really kind of coming to a point where it's going to be, controlling how AI is viewing you. And I
Mhm.
mean, do you think like I mean, do you expect a big shift in the PR world when that happens, or are you seeing that big shift happen now?
I see it's starting to happen now. Like,
Mm,
I think a lot of people are realizing they're late to the table, but I really don't think, yeah, you might be late for right now, but there's always tomorrow. There's always next year. So start now. Get
right.
started. Get started and showing up in those AI searches.
Yeah. And do you think that there will ever be a situation? I know this is kind of an out there question, but just
I'll do my best.
hypothetical, I guess, right? Do you think, what kind of like we talked about, a little bit more about like crisis management, right?
Mhm.
What kind of a crisis situation do you think there will be any kind of crisis situation where, oh God, the AI is looking at us like this, and when you search our name, this is what the AI is bringing up? And if so, how would you manage that?
I'm not so sure about that, but if you start now and you manage it from the get-go, so any of your product that you're putting out there or your content that you're putting out has those consistent um, phrasing attached to your
Mhm.
name, attached to your bio, then that should be a big help because but whether or not AI picks up on a crisis, I think the biggest crisis, to be honest, is that you're not showing up on the AI
Right.
searches.
Right. Well, and the other thing I was wondering is, whether through whether through, AI or not, but even currently, what are some of the metrics that you are using when you're looking at, oh, these PR strategies are proving effective? What are some of the metrics you're measuring to prove that? I mean, because it's a little abstract, right?
It can be, sure, and it's especially abstract if you're coming from it as an individual and you just want to measure your metrics and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's a
Right.
there's a lot of like tools that PR pros pay for, and they
Mm,
measure certain metrics. But for the end user, which my attention seeker newsletter is for, people that
mm,
need to do PR themselves, or even if you're just interested, you can measure metrics like, I mean, your Google Analytics. Make sure
mm,
that's set up. That's so important. So keep track of your website, keep track of your mentions. There's a few free tools that you can use to keep track of mentions of you on social media.
mm.
So I like those metrics. Start off small. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many metrics and what's important to you. I would say web hits and mentions are really good start points.
When you think back on all of the clients that you have helped, with their PR, and all the companies you've helped with your PR, is there a client or a company that you really saw a positive transformation in, one that stands out, that you really saw a positive transformation in as a result of your help and guidance?
Oh, so many.
I know it's a big loaded question, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love all my clients, and I would love for all of them to be featured on the cover of Wall Street Journal, right? Like, but that just can't happen. And when you're a little company, if you get famous too fast, you can't handle that.
Right.
Like that amount of notoriety that comes in. But recently, I have a nonprofit that they got a large grant from I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but anyways, I won't say the name, but from a big grocery store. And they've been able to help so many people learn about nutrition education and how to eat better. And they help people have actual access to food so that they can eat a healthy meal and know how to cook a healthy meal. And when I see clients like that succeed because of PR efforts, and let's be honest, their own efforts, they're putting in the work too, right? Then it's such an easy story for news. They love stories like that. And so I love helping companies that are making big changes.
And when those companies say that there are companies out there that really should be, searching for public relations consulting and management and guidance and people like you to help them out, and they don't seek that, and they don't pursue those avenues, what does that look like for them?
I'm never snobby and think, oh, you can only hire a PR pro and you can't do it yourself, because some people do not have the means or the money to seek out professional help. So it depends. But all I know is for sure, if you can't afford to hire somebody, you have to do it yourself. You have to be putting forth the effort to spread your news. It doesn't mean you have to be doing it like full time, but you have to put a little bit of effort into it, because if you don't, you're losing out on so much potential. You're losing out on your community, and you're losing out on so much, because public relations isn't just about getting the media to pay attention to you. It's about what you do for the public, what you're doing for them, and building good relationships with them. And so you really should have a well thought out PR plan, and it's going to make your business thrive. It's a lot easier if you have a PR pro do it for you, though.
Right. Throughout your career, whether it be in the, candy world, whether it be in the PR world, is there a mistake that you made along the way that maybe other business owners, other thought leaders, other, industry leaders, and our listeners can learn from your mistake so that they don't have to make it themselves?
Putting me on the spot.
I know, right? And I promised I wouldn't.
No, it's good. I think the self-doubt. At times you're like, oh man, okay, am I really worth telling a story about? Is my business really worth it? And you start doubting yourself, and you're like, is this a good story? And you don't hit the send button. I think that's a big mistake. I'm not talking about, sending out a pitch for a story that's not newsworthy. I'm talking about something that is newsworthy, but you start doubting yourself and you don't hit that send button. You don't send out that well thought out pitch. That could be a mistake.
Absolutely. Well, and everything that you're doing, you're helping business owners, you're helping businesses, you're helping your clients. Everything that you're doing seems to come from this place of helping. Would you say that drive to help, is that something that's just innate to your character, or is that something you cultivated along the way?
No, it is. It's who I am. I take after my mom, but actually the reason why I started that attention seeker newsletter, which I put a lot of time into, and it's not a moneymaker. It's free and it's for people who can't afford PR, but I know the importance of it. The way it started was I was getting my nails done, and the lady, she was giving me a pedicure, and she was telling me about this new business she was starting. And she was of humble means, and she had this really great idea. And this was years ago, and it was a salon on wheels. And I was like, well, you should publicize it. You should let the media know. And she's like, I don't know how. So I took a pen and paper. I wrote a press release for her. I circled in the newspaper where to send it to. And I said, go home, type this up, send it to this person with a cover letter. And, and I gave her instructions. A week later, I wake up. There she is, front cover of the newspaper, interviewed on the radio, interviewed on TV. I was so happy for her because that little free help that I gave her could have changed. I don't know if it changed her course of her business, but I really hope so. And so I really think when you give, you're more happy. And so I'm happy to write for my attention seekers out there.
Well, that's amazing. Keren, this has been an awesome conversation. If anybody out there listening could use your help, would like to check out the Attention Seekers newsletter, where can people find you?
So the Attention Seeker newsletter is attnseek.com. So Attention Seeker shortened down. And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on socials at attnseek. And I also have my noticefactory.com website. And so contact me anytime. I'm happy to guide you. I'm happy to guide people, even if I can't help them. I love guiding people and help answering questions.
That's amazing. And Keren, thank you so much for joining us today. This was great.
Well, thank you so very much. You have a wonderful day, and go Kansas.
That's right. And thank you everyone for listening. This has been Partnerships for Profit presented by LeDuc Entertainment. Keren, thank you so much again.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.